Good evening. Tonight, the latest developments over a planning controversy in one of the most beautiful areas of Wales. But first, adoption. National Adoption Week started today to encourage people to find out about adopting a child. But for a small group of parents who say they've unjustly faced forced adoptions, it brings increased heartache. Tonight, the story of a mother wrongly accused of one of the most controversial forms of child abuse. Her battle to get back her child has revealed that the Welsh Assembly government has issued new guidance and sparked a political row. This mother lives in Wales. We can't say where because of legal reasons. 8 years ago, her daughter developed feeding difficulties, and while she was trying to get medical help, the child was taken into care. Because of suspicions, the mother was causing the baby's problems.
I'm here because I was accused of Munchausen syndrome by proxy by a social worker that was never allocated to our family. I'm now fighting to get my daughter back.
The daughter was taken into care for other reasons and later placed for adoption. But that wasn't the end. This family was to fall under suspicion not once, but twice.
Well, all the way through the courts, the social services insisted that we did have this Munchausen. Even though we were actually cleared, they still insisted that we do suffer with it.
The mother had other children who remained part of the family. An older daughter, now in her 20s, has had her son taken away.
I'm trying to get my son back because I've been accused of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. I've not got it. I don't even believe it exists. And I've had my son taken away from me now since he was a baby. I found out I was pregnant and social services got involved, obviously, because they were involved with my parents. They turned round and said, we're going to have to put the baby on the at-risk register before he was born. And they did, for emotional harm and emotional neglect. I turned around and said, why have I got to go through social services at the end of the day? And they went, because your parents have been accused of Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
At John Moores University in Liverpool, an expert in social work and criminology has doubts that Munchausen syndrome by proxy can be spread from mother to daughter.
As soon as you make the first mistake and say Munchausen's a fabricated induced illness is a medical diagnosis and it's a medical condition, well then it's easy to say, well, could it be passed on? Like, I don't know, small noses or big feet. But it's not a medical condition. If somebody has assaulted somebody, this is a criminal act. Now, if somebody has murdered somebody, this is a criminal act.
Our mother fought for years to try and clear her name. In 2004, in the appeal court, Lord Justice Wall, in his final judgment, specifically referred to the original concern that hers was a case of Munchausen's by proxy. He reviewed the judgment, which had removed the baby from her care, and said,
"It is apparent that at an early stage that suspicion was entertained. The earlier judgment makes it absolutely clear that this is not a case of Munchausen syndrome by proxy. It is not a case of these parents willfully harming their child."
For other reasons, Lord Justice Wall did not allow the appeal. But the rejection of the Munchausen claims failed to prevent repercussions. Only last month, a psychiatric report on the grown-up older daughter says that as she
has possibly been subjected to Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and also herself has exhibited traits of Munchausen syndrome, there is a risk that she may resort to MSBP. This is likely to occur if she is emotionally unwell or under sustained pressure.
Allegations of Munchausen syndrome by proxy spread and became common throughout the United Kingdom at the end of the 80s. Since the early 90s, Wales This Week has told the stories of several Welsh families who've been wrongfully accused. One of them was a Swansea family.
You could just feel the snowball rolling and gathering speed and clout and just there was nothing we could do. And by the end of it, I just felt totally caged. I felt as though I'd been put in a corner, that the bars had been shut on me and there was absolutely nothing I could do whatsoever to protect my family.
Professor David Southall became involved with the family when he saw her son Ben in 1990 at the Royal Brompton Hospital in London. Professor Southall was building a reputation as an expert in Munchausen syndrome by proxy. He said he believed there was nothing wrong with Ben and that his parents were fabricating his symptoms. He wanted to carry out tests without the parents being present. The parents proved Professor Southall's accusation was wrong, but they still don't know exactly what tests were carried out on Ben, and South Wales Police are looking into this. Colin Hobbs, a retired Community Health Council chief officer in Gwent, supported the family.
I've dealt with literally hundreds and hundreds of complaints work within the National Health Service in supporting complainants through the process. But I'd never come across such a traumatic experience in my life as I did with this one. For a family to be suddenly charged with allegation of abusing their